This day actually fell on 21st of August 2022. The world celebrates Entrepreneurship Day to recognize and appreciate entrepreneurs, innovators, and business leaders all around the world. It marks the achievements and efforts of entrepreneurs who give their blood and sweat to their businesses and who develop an ecosystem of employers and employees. This day assumes a greater importance when the government of India is making efforts to develop a self-reliant generation, and universities are increasingly playing an important role in this effort. I would request all the participants to please mute their mics. Thank you. Continuing, we at IGNOU are also celebrating this day to appreciate the efforts made by our university towards fostering an ecosystem of innovation, entrepreneurship, and startup among our faculty and students. Indeed, in a short amount of time, encompassing only 3 to 4 years, the effort in this direction by IGNOU have led to commendable achievements in the area of innovation by our students. But needless to say, this is the beginning, and there is more to be done as the journey still continues. There is a continuous need to foster innovation and entrepreneurship among the students. And today we are gathered here in this webinar in which this topic will be discussed in detail. To speak on this topic, we have with us Dr. Vijeta Banwari, who is an Associate Professor of Economics at the Indira Gandhi National Open University. She has more than 13 years of rich teaching and research experience. She has various research papers and books to her credit. She has worked closely with the industry as training and placement officer in her previous organization. Dr. Vijeta has extensive experience of conducting pre-placement training sessions and personality development workshops for young people. Dr. Vijeta is also closely associated with IGNOU's Institutions Innovation Council, and she is working hard to foster an ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurship in the university. I extend a very warm welcome to Dr. Vijeta Banwari to today's webinar. We also have with us Dr. O.P. Sharma, Director NCIDE. Before I request Dr. Vijeta Banwari to deliver her talk, I would request Dr. Sharma to say a few words on this occasion. Dr. Sharma, please.
Thank you, Dr. Momita. Good afternoon to all of you. I also welcome you for this very important event on the occasion of World Entrepreneurship Day. In fact, you all know that Indira Gandhi National Open University has been very actively promoting the culture of innovation and entrepreneurship in the university among the students and faculty. And we have been organizing various kinds of activities for the students as well as for the faculty. This World Entrepreneurship Day, as Dr. Momita has mentioned, is basically to honor and recognize the contribution of entrepreneurs in making the society grow, the country grow, and all what kind of things development we are looking at around us. These all can be credited to the entrepreneurs and business persons and the startup persons and those all. And this day gives us an opportunity not only to honor them, recognize them, but also to encourage the other potential innovators to come up and then contribute towards the development of the society and the country. And in this context, the very important thing is to be aware of the importance of entrepreneurship, the concept of entrepreneurship, how that concept of entrepreneurship can be fostered, can be developed among the students. In that context, I think today's session will be very important to give you a background of entrepreneurship and how it can be helpful in your life also to achieve not only the goal of being an entrepreneur, but I think it can be a good worker also, because if you are having those entrepreneurial skills and those entrepreneurial mindset, then that will be helpful in our day-to-day life working also. Whatever field you are working, I think the session in that context will be very useful. So we are really thankful to Dr. Vijita Banwari ji uh, for sparing her time to address to our students and the faculty and the other functionaries of the Indira Gandhi National Open University. So Dr. Momita, without taking much time, we can invite Dr. Vijeta to share her views on this important topic.
Thank you, Dr. Sharma. And now I request Dr. Vijita Banwari to deliver her talk on the topic Need of Fostering Entrepreneurship Among Students. Dr. Vijita, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank NCID, Dr. O.P. Sharma, Momita Das ma'am for giving me this opportunity to express my views on such an important topic and on such an important day, fostering entrepreneurship. I hope all of you can see my slideshow.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay.
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Now, before I start my talk, I want to share some facts with you. As you can see on my screen, India has emerged as the third largest ecosystem for startups globally in August. As on 19 July 2022, India is home to 105 unicorns with a total valuation of 338.50 billion. Unicorn is a startup having a valuation of $1 billion without being listed in the stock market. Now, just looking at these two figures, we can assume, we can conclude that our country is doing great in terms of innovation and entrepreneurship. Just to startle you, let me share a few more facts. Yes, we are doing great. We have great large number of unicorns. We are third largest ecosystem, but majority of startups die within 1.6 to 1.9 years of inception. Interestingly, 55% of the failed startups have received funding. So we can't say that funding has been the issue for the failed startups. Also, 20% failed startups graduated from incubators or accelerators. Now the point, why am I sharing this data with you? Because I want to highlight the fact that yes, we are doing great. The numbers are great, but still there is a long, long way to go. We need to build our entrepreneurs. We need to groom our young people to take up the startups, entrepreneurship, innovation, and make them more ready for it so that the startups which are doing great in the starting, they don't die off so early within 2 years of their inceptions. We as higher education institution also has to see what can we do to reduce this failed startup rate. Now, in this discussion today, I'm going to address few questions. Now, while I was preparing my presentation, I was aware of the fact that along with students, university officials are going to be there. So I wanted to concentrate on what is the role of higher education institutions. So I'll start with why is entrepreneurship important for an economy? Since all of us are aware of it, I'll spend little time on it. But the major part that I'm going to spend on is what is the role of higher education institutions in fostering entrepreneurship? What can we do? As a distance education university, what are the challenges that we are facing? I have been member of IIC since past 1 year, attending all the meetings. I know that NCID is doing great work. So I may request in the end, I may request Director NCID to discuss how they have faced those challenges. Because I can tell you that IGNU is doing great. National Startup Policy 2019, when they are comparing universities, higher education institutions, when they are judging higher education institutions regarding how are they doing, how are they faring in terms of innovation and entrepreneurship, they look into three things. Interestingly, we are doing great on all those three things. Number one, IIC, Institutional Innovation Council, which we have. I was part of IIC 4.0. Secondly, all of us are aware, ARIA ranking. We got number 1 in non-technical category in ARIA ranking. Third indicator of how a higher education institution is performing is Smart India Hackathon. And I want to congratulate all of us that our student has secured first position in Smart India Hackathon 2022. So I believe that we are doing great. Being a distance education university, being away from our students, we are actually working hard towards promoting innovation and entrepreneurship, so which is a great thing. Now, why is entrepreneurship important for an economy? And more so, why is it important for higher education institution to play a major role? Let us innovate for India. Let us innovate from India. This is the motto of our startup policy and Government of India as well. So we want to innovate for India and from India. Why? Because not only, by promoting innovation and entrepreneurship, we will develop a great talent pool, but we'll be able to create job opportunities also. We'll be able to, in turn, improve standard of living and in turn, improve GDP of the country. I want to pay some attention. I want you to pay some attention to this line. Let us innovate for India, innovate from India. Innovate from India, as I can share, we are doing great. We are number 3 in the world. Innovate for India is also a very important thing. And that is why social entrepreneurships are coming up a long way. They are also getting a lot of funds. So when we are talking about innovation and entrepreneurship, this is especially for students as well. We are not just talking about, starting a business, taking up any service or production activity. We are here trying to identify areas where we can address problems of our country. We can identify what are the loopholes, what are the issues that our country is facing as an economy also and as a society also. And then come up with an idea where we can contribute to our country. Now, going that, higher education institutes are going to be instrumental in leveraging the potential of student. How? Because for starting up a business, for innovating, for entrepreneurship, they need to develop a certain mindset. They have to develop risk-taking abilities. They have to understand how the business works. They have to generate ideas also. For that, higher education institutions are the only institutions who can, play a major role. That is why National Startup Policy 2019 also play a lot of attention to role of higher education institution. Here I want to also mention one thing, that generally when we are talking about entrepreneurship, this is for students also and for everyone, we are majorly focusing on idea generation. That is what we tell our students. But one thing that I have understood is that not only idea generation, but seeing if that idea is commercially viable or not is also very important. In my experience, students often come up with a wonderful idea. They know what they want to do. They know what kind of service they want to provide. They know what kind of software they want to develop. But where they fail in commercializing it. So usually in higher education institutes and as part of innovation cell, we also tell them to have proof of concept validation. We also ask them to, before they implement their product, implement their project, we also ask them to understand that will the project be successful? Will it be commercially viable? I was going through a report on Ministry of Education's website. I came to know that the major reason for failure of startups is not finance or funding, not the idea. The problem is that students or entrepreneurs are not able to convert that idea into a big product, or they are not able to convert the idea to the market. They are not able to grow. So this is where the role of higher education institution is important. Higher education institutions also can, help in providing intra and inter-institutional partnerships. Let me give an example for intra-institutional partnership. Now, suppose there is a student who want to develop a product. Say it is a technology product. So, is the only school of sciences that can help that student, or the other schools also can contribute? Of course, while he's developing a product, he or she need to understand a lot of things, like how to market that product, from where to secure funds, maybe the economics part of it. So, as a higher education institution, as a university, since all resources are available, since people from all backgrounds, all expertise are available, higher education institutions can provide the students with overall view also. So not just the School of Sciences, maybe the School of Management, along with School of Social Sciences, along with NCID and other schools as well, can help that particular student. Inter-institutional partnership. As a student, as a young person, many times people want to become entrepreneurs, but they are not sure how to secure funds. They are not sure how to convert that product. As a higher education institution, as a university, we can support these students by building inter-institutional partnerships also. Inter-institutional partnerships, as in we can collaborate. Like I know NCID, IGNOU, we have collaborated with a lot of agencies where we can provide that support to the students which they alone cannot. So summarizing what I just explained, I just discussed, entrepreneurship is very important for economy. And while we are promoting entrepreneurship, role of higher education institution is extremely instrumental in leveraging. Coming to what is the role, how higher education institutions can foster entrepreneurship. Now, before I go to technical part of it, I want to highlight that there are 4 C's of 21st century skills that needs to be developed in all the students, all the learners. Earlier, we used to talk about reading, writing, etc. Now, the 4 C's that we have to work towards is critical thinking, developing creativity, learning collaboration, and telling them how to communicate. I remember when last year, when I took my first Facebook Live for NCIT, I concentrated on communication part of it, because that was my experience. I've observed that students have good idea. They know how to communicate, how to build a business out of it, but they don't know the communication part of it. They don't know how they have to communicate to the funding agencies, how to give presentations, etc. Along with other aspects, communication is also a very important aspect. Now, as higher education institution, we can also think about it. We can introspect. Are we able to build all these skills in our learners through our study material? That is what we have to do. There are a lot of ways where we can do that. Projects, project works, etc. are a good way to help students in developing critical thinking and being creative. Collaboration is something which is one skill that is needed today to succeed. One cannot succeed if they don't know how to collaborate with different agencies, right? So coming to what is the role? The first thing that a higher education institute can do is develop a critical mass of motivated students and faculties with entrepreneurial organization and skill. Often when we talk about entrepreneurship and promoting entrepreneurship, we like to concentrate on students. But the National Startup Policy 2019 also talks about fostering entrepreneurship among faculty members. They have laid extensive guidelines for people, for faculty members who want to undertake a startup or who want to innovate. So as a university, we need to develop a motivated pool of students and faculties with entrepreneurial mindset. How can we go about it? We can organize workshops, webinars, lectures, seminar, e-talk, etc. That I know IGNOU has been organizing. NCID, along with ISE, we have been organizing a lot of workshops, lectures, seminars, etc. for motivating students. Through these talks, of course, we cannot convert an idea into a project. But the first step that we can achieve is motivate those students to take up entrepreneurship. Because I remember in my previous institution when I used to talk to students about what is their goal, etc. The goals used to be, ma'am, job lag jaye, मैम गवर्नमेंट जॉब लग जाए, एग्जाम की तैयारी कर रहे हैं, मैम बैंक के उसके लिए तैयारी कर रहे हैं. Very few people wanted to be entrepreneurs. What is the reason behind it? We need to think about it. We can also conduct online and classroom education and training and mentoring. Ultimately, these students need mentoring. They want someone to tell them that they can do it. They want someone to tell them how to go about it. They want someone to validate their ideas, to understand them. As higher education institution, we can definitely move in that direction. Experiential learning, projects, etc. is also a very good way to promote critical thinking and creativity among students. But here we have to understand what is the nature of the projects. While we are asking our students to take up projects for any subject it may be, we have to encourage that they take up some social issue or some economic issue, problem that our country is facing as an economy or a society, and then work on it. So ultimately, we have to build entrepreneurship, and we also have to ensure that that entrepreneurship is channelized towards developing the country as a whole. Once we have motivated pool of students and faculties, the next step is building innovation and early stage enterprises by supporting and enabling access to resource and facilities at the institute. Students, like I mentioned earlier also, many times they have idea, they know that they can convert it. What they miss is, they miss the resources, they miss the facilities, they miss the funds, and they also miss the guidance. Higher education institutions and university like IGNOU has a major role to play. We can establish a startup cell. I know in our university we already have an innovation cell, and which is doing great in promoting innovation and entrepreneurship among students. But we can also move towards having a startup cell which can help them in converting their ideas into actual projects. Another important thing, I think NCID is working towards that also, is idea bank. Ideas are generated, but ideas usually get lost when they don't find enough resources. So maybe as a university, we can build towards building an idea bank where students can actually get support onto, because see, ultimately idea generation is not a one-time activity. They have to be have exposure of different ideas. They have to understand how others are doing, what others are doing. Probably then only they can, come up with certain creative idea. So university can also support the students in idea building, innovation and startup repository build-up. So students learn best from other students. We as distance education university have this limitation that our students are distant, physically distant from us. So maybe we can work towards building a repository where students can have ideas, where students can know what others are doing, etc. Now, we can also work towards developing an in-house competency to serve potential and early stage entrepreneurs. We can have FDPs, EDPs, we can develop a pool of experts who can work towards training those entrepreneurs. I remember, I took a session last year in December. There was a workshop for students, 2 or 3 days workshop organized by NCID for students. I was one of the resource person. So I remember the questions that most students asked was very practical ones regarding how to handle the employees, how to communicate better with the experts, how to communicate better with the government agencies, how to secure funds, etc. So maybe if we can develop our pool of experts in all those areas, that can be very useful for the learners, for the students. We can also have some research studies, advocacy programs to promote entrepreneurship. We can also have incentives for mentors and experts, not just within the university, but outside the university. Like I mentioned in the starting also, entrepreneurship requires effort from a lot of agencies. We need collaboration, communication with so many agencies. One teacher, one faculty, one university cannot meet all the needs of the learners. We need to collaborate with other institutions also, which I know NCID is doing great in this regard as well. Like I mentioned, intra and inter-institutional linkages with the ecosystem is very important. And as a university, we need to strengthen it. We need to mentor our students. We need to have a startup cell network. We need to have a business and referral service where we can provide all these facilities to the learners so that they can come up as entrepreneurs. Another important thing that I have observed while I was interacting with our learners in different workshops is that most of them really want to know from where to get the funds. What are the different government schemes that can help them? That can help them in converting their idea into the final product. So maybe we can work towards that also. We can collaborate with government agencies and we can help our students in securing funds also. That is one practical way of promoting, fostering entrepreneurship among students in the university. We need to sometimes handhold them and help them work towards converting the idea into the final product. I'm repeating myself. Students are very good with ideas. They have innovative ideas. They want to do something also. They want to make it big in life. They want to contribute to the economy also, to the society also. But what they lack is the vision, the path to achieve that. And as a university, it's our responsibility, it's our duty to support our students in that respect. And once we do that, these students can do wonders. The Smart Hackathon Award 2022 to the student who also got an innovation award in our university is a proof. NCID team worked with that student in helping convert his idea into the product, and finally he could win that prize. I felt very proud when I was searching about Smart India Hackathon 2022, and the first newspaper article was IGNOU student bags first prize. I felt very proud to be part of this university. So once we support our learners, the students actually can do wonders towards it. One way of doing that is organizing national and regional events. Our university, NCID, has been organizing a lot of webinars, a lot of workshops for the students. We can also think about organizing some offline events for the students, offline seminars, if possible, for the students, because it's not only that they learn from the teachers or from the mentors, from the faculty. It's they learn best when they work with each other. So maybe we can think at regional level or study center level, maybe something so that they are able to interact with others also. Now, like I mentioned, there are few students who are already motivated, who have an idea. But we as a university have a major role to play in encouraging all our students. At least that is what we should try. And not just the students, but the faculty and staff also. So it is very important that every higher education institution to set up a process or clear guidelines or mechanisms. Of course, within the light of government policy for easy creation and nurturing of startups, so that the students also know. Now, when I'm talking about guidelines, what are the different guidelines that we can have? Like, I want to share an example with you. One of my students, she started up her business in social entrepreneurship. Basically, her sibling was specially abled, so she connected with the NGO of specially abled students and helped them sell their products to the whole world. She was also awarded with BBC Top 100 Women Entrepreneurs in 2018. So why am I sharing this example? Because while she was working on this project, she was still a student. So she missed classes also. As a teacher, as an institution, we have to promote our students in that respect also. For that, we need to set up a guidelines. If our student is having a startup while he or she is pursuing their studies, can we give them off? Can we give them a year break? Well, that's not a question in case of IGNOU, but we can have a different questions. Can we have a mechanism where we can give credits to the students who are having a startup? Can we go innovative and can we think about that? Can we provide additional facilities like hostel, etc. to the students? And this is a question not just for IGNOU, this is a question for all higher education institutions. Because promoting, encouraging is one thing, but doing something for the students is something which is very important. So are we allowing them to take up a major project? Are we allowing them to start up their business while they are still our students? Can we give them some rebate in that regard? Can we have some toolkits that we can provide to these students so that they can use those toolkits to innovate, to understand how innovation works? Can we have a tie-ups with different institutions, with different top institutions, and help our students enroll in their incubation centers? Regarding this, I know NCID is working at regional level towards it, but we really have to identify the higher education institutions and the different companies that can take up our students, take up our learners, and mentor them, groom them, help them set up a business. We can also have student clubs, bodies on innovation, IPRs, and startups. Like I mentioned, we already have an innovation cell where the meetings are held regularly and students interact with each other along with faculty. We can have more such clubs where, excuse me, where students can engage with each other, because building entrepreneurship is not a one-day process, and our country cannot do it without effective support from higher education institution. We, as one of the largest universities in our country, have a major role to play in this, and our responsibility also. Now, another important way is we can recognize and give entrepreneurship and innovation awards to best achievers. We have this practice in IGNOU. In fact, the Smart India Hackathon 2022 winner is our innovation awardee also. And we can also, along with this, maybe we can think of giving them a gold medal on convention center on our convocation. Maybe, I mean, this is one idea that just cropped in my mind, because ultimately we have to promote entrepreneurship. We have to tell our students that, okay, when they have startups, they are going to get benefits as well from the university also. Like I mentioned, that it is not a one-day process. It is the whole transformation of the learner that has to take place. So case studies of real business stories, failures, successes, experiential learning is also very important, so that they are aware that there are stories where students have started from scratch and did wonders. We have to present such case studies to our learners through our study material. Along with that, we have to introspect that are we also teaching them to accept failure? Because when I talk about entrepreneurship, when I talk about startups, I have already shared statistics with you. Failure rate is very high. 55% of the startups fail. It's a big rate. So we have to, through our study material, through our activities, we also have to teach them to accept failures. While they are undertaking projects, we have to make sure we have to encourage innovation. We can think about something, the way to promote our students so that they make their projects around the life challenges that our economy is facing, and they can come up with innovative solutions for it. Social entrepreneurship is very popular and get a lot of funds these days. We can also think about, like I remember in our convocation address, the minister also mentioned that it is very important to have ODL or maybe online courses on innovation, entrepreneurship, and venture development, so that students know how to go about it. What is the process of becoming an entrepreneur? Now, as a distance education university, we have a lot of challenges. One big challenge is distance between learner and teacher. Our learners are away from us. So that is why we have a very limited role to play. But still, we have to identify the ways in which we can reach out to our learners. IGNOU is doing great. NCID is doing great in this regard. I think the Facebook Live that they conduct every week is a very big step towards promoting entrepreneurship and innovation among our students, because all the sessions, all the topics which are taken up in Facebook Live, they are extremely good. So that is one way that we are trying to cover up the distance between learner and teacher. Because ultimately, see, it is very difficult to motivate learners in distance mode through our study material. Accepting failures through study material, building creative thinking through study material, that's slightly difficult. So such initiatives, such Facebook Lives, webinars, seminars, etc. can go a long way in motivating our learners to become entrepreneurs. Another important challenge that we face because of being a distance education university is guidance and mentoring. We would like to guide, we would like to mentor all our learners, but that becomes extremely difficult because they are in different parts of the country. Regional centers, study centers can be of great help in this regard. We are already working towards it. I know, being a part of IIC, I'm aware about all the activities that our university is undertaking with the regional centers. But we also have to identify maybe some institutions which are not just part of IGNOU. We have to set up collaboration with such institutions, maybe IITs, IIMs, where those people, the faculty or the trainers, can mentor our students. That is something which can help us in covering that challenge. Now, distance between learner and teacher is one issue. Distance between learner and learner is excuse me. Distance between learner and learner is another issue. Usually we've seen that learners motivate from each other. So in a face-to-face mode university, in a face-to-face institution, it is very easy for learner to be motivated. They can obviously get motivated by other learners, their startups, their innovations. But here, since the challenge is the distance between learner and learner, we also have to identify some mechanisms where we can improve the collaboration between them, between the learners. It can be through a conference or a workshop, but along with that, maybe we can use some technology, we can use some tools where the students, learners can collaborate online as well, where the learners collaborate and maybe they can come up with some projects together as well. We have to think about that also. Another important challenge that I think we face as a distance education university is a limited support from alumni network. I want to share an example that in my previous institution where I used to teach my students in face-to-face mode, my alumni were just a call away. They also wanted to contribute. They were attached to the institution. That is how it works in a face-to-face university. But in a distance education university, alumni network is very strong, but sometimes getting support from it becomes very difficult. In fact, in one of the IIC meetings, we discussed this issue also. As an alumna of this university, I shared with OP Sharma sir that how in alumni meet, I noticed that even in a distance education university, alumni want to contribute towards the growth of the university. So right now, we are working towards it. We are trying to identify, we have already started working in this direction. We have to identify how we can get the maximum benefit by connecting with the alumni. Not just, monetary. It's not always monetary. It is more of a support. For example, as a faculty here, I can train my students in communication skills. I can motivate the students. I can also tell them how to get funds, how to secure funds, how to prepare a business proposal or business plan. But when it will come to a technical product, I will be of limited help to them. In such a case, we will need people from that particular industry to help them, to help our learners in providing technical support. Alumni network is a great way of doing that. We are working towards it, and we hope that in near future, we will have a strong alumni network working towards innovation and entrepreneurship. So we have a strong network, but now I think we will start working in using that network in entrepreneurship and innovation activities. Now, another challenge which I have discussed earlier also is offline workshops can be limited in number because of the nature of the university. Offline workshops are very important because, as I mentioned earlier also, there the students not only interact with the mentors on one-to-one basis, but they observe each other also. They learn from each other also. They collaborate from each other also. Now, summarizing what I have discussed till now, I have concentrated on what is the role of higher education institutions, how we can promote entrepreneurship, why is it important to promote entrepreneurship, what are the challenges that we as university are facing and how we are trying to cope up with those challenges. Now, since I was aware that many students might also join the webinar, I also dedicated one of my slides to a very important topic, steps for a startup. So if a student wants to start up, wants to start his or her own business, want to innovate, what are the steps, how you should go about it as a student? The first thing that as a student you'll have to do is you have to think about an idea. You have to generate an idea. Great idea is the key to success. That is the first step which is going to help you in reaching the great heights and achieving what you really want to achieve. Higher education institutions will have a great role to play. We can help you in idea generation. We can have an idea mapping also. We can also have an idea pool which can help you in identifying an innovative idea. One important thing that I want to share with my learners is, I'm repeating myself, that when you're thinking about an idea, think about the problem that our country is facing, our society is facing, and economy is facing. Once you know the problem, the issue, You can think about the innovative ways of solving that. Ultimately, that is entrepreneurship. Ultimately, entrepreneurship without innovation is a recipe for failure. So if you want to succeed, think something new, think something different. You can see, you can observe there are so many new businesses which have come up in past 5 years, 10 years, which never existed. Urban Ladder, Urban Club, Airbnb, all these are, what are they trying to do? They are trying to provide utility to the customers in their own different way. Okay, be it a place utility, be it a time utility. For idea generation, think about the problem, think about the innovation solution, and then you can come up with a great idea. The second step, once you have an idea, is make a business plan out of it. You have to understand that every idea is not commercial. हर आइडिया को आप कमर्शियल बिजनेस में कन्वर्ट नहीं कर सकते हो. आपको ये आइडेंटिफाई करना पड़ेगा कि क्या आप अपने आइडिया से प्रॉफिट्स जनरेट कर पा रहे हो या नहीं कर पा रहे हो. दैट इज what is the role of business plan. There are a lot of workshops, seminars conducted on business plan. In fact, a lot of Facebook lives have been dedicated to making a business plan. Students can go through them, the Facebook live that NCID organize every week. You can learn how to make a business plan. But the ultimate thing is you have to see, is the project valid? Is the project viable? Will you be able to make profits out of it or not? Once you identify that, then you can go ahead and think about securing funds for your startups. Funding is one major challenge that our students face. They don't know from where to secure funds. But I want to here mention that there are a lot of funding agencies, a lot of government schemes who provide funds to everyone. So you must have a good idea and a business plan. You can secure funds very easily. From there to secure funds, again, we have a lot of Facebook lives dedicated to it. Facebook lives by IGNOU. Students can go through that and identify from where they can secure funds. The government schemes which are there, Startup India, Stand Up India. Along with that, there are so many schemes for women entrepreneurs, disadvantaged section. There are a lot of schemes. Building right startup team. Now, once you have funds also, it is not a recipe for success. You must have a right startup team. Right startup team से ये मतलब नहीं है कि आपकी जो innovators होंगे या entrepreneurs होंगे. Ultimately, जब आप एक business start करते हो, you need people with different skill set. So even if it is a technical startup, you need people from finance. You need people from marketing. You need someone who might have good knowledge of the economy. Someone who might have a good knowledge of the technology, techniques, the softwares, etc. that have to be used. तो फंड सिक्योर करने के साथ साथ आपकी एक राइट स्टार्टअप टीम भी बिल्ड होनी चाहिए. जब हम अपने स्टूडेंट्स में कोलैबोरेशन प्रमोट करेंगे, जब हम ऑफलाइन वर्कशॉप्स करेंगे, मे बी वी कैन हेल्प देम आइडेंटिफाई राइट पीपल फॉर देयर स्टार्टअप्स. Once you know you've secured funds, you'll be able to get funds, you have right team, your business plan is in place, you have to see all the legalities involved. कहाँ से अप्रूवल चाहिए होगा आपको, कौन कौन से गवर्नमेंट डॉक्यूमेंट्स आपको फिल करने पड़ेंगे, ये सारी लीगैलिटीज फॉलो करनी पड़ेंगी. लीगैलिटीज फॉलो करने के कई बार ये स्टेप्स जो है ये साइमल्टेनियस भी होते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है कि ये 1 by 1 ही है, बट इन जनरल दिस इज हाउ you have to go about it. You have to establish a location. You have to identify whether it is going to be an online business or a physical shop. You have to identify. अगर physical shop है तो वो physical shop कहाँ पे होगी, online होगी तो आप कैसे website design करोगे, how will your customers reach you. Ultimately जब हम location की बात करते हैं, सिर्फ जगह नहीं, location as in how will your customers reach you. It can be a physical place or an online website, but you have to make sure that your customers are able to reach to you easily. ये एक important aspect है. उसके अलावा जैसे मैंने आपको कहा कि अगर आपका टेक्निकल स्टार्टअप भी है तो भी आपको फाइनेंस और मार्केटिंग पे तो वर्क करना ही पड़ेगा। आपको एक मार्केटिंग प्लान तो ऐसा बनाना ही पड़ेगा जो आपको सक्सेस की तरफ लेके जाए। जैसे एक चीज जो मैंने पहले भी कही थी, बिजनेस आइडिया बहुत अच्छा हो सकता है बट जरूरी नहीं है कि वो कमर्शियल है। तो हम एक वैलिडेशन करते हैं, प्रूफ ऑफ कॉन्सेप्ट वैलिडेशन, वो एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है। उसमें हम ये देखते हैं कि आइडिया जितना भी अच्छा है, अगर हम उसको मार्केट तक ले जाएंगे, अगर हम उसको कमर्शियल प्लेस पे ले जाएंगे, तो क्या वो सक्सेसफुल होगा, क्या वो प्लान प्रॉफिट्स अर्न करेगा। तो जब आप मार्केटिंग प्लान बना रहे हो उस समय भी आपको ये चीज का ध्यान रखना है कि आपके कस्टमर्स आप तक इजीली रीच कर पाए, आप अपने कस्टमर्स तक इजीली रीच कर पाए। मार्केटिंग का पूरा कंसेप्ट अब बदल चुका है। पहले जब हम एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, चाहे वो प्रोडक्ट एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप हो या सर्विस एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, पहले हम बात करते थे प्रोडक्ट पे बहुत अच्छा काम करना है, आपको सर्विस पे बहुत अच्छा काम करना है। नाउ इट इज स्लाइटली डिफरेंट। इट इज दैट प्रोडक्ट तो आपका जैसा भी हो अच्छा ही होना चाहिए, बट आप कस्टमर को क्या यूटिलिटी प्रोवाइड कर पा रहे हैं, क्या आप कस्टमर को समझ पा रहे हो, क्या आप उस कस्टमर की नीड समझ पा रहे हो, और क्या आपका प्रोडक्ट उस नीड को फुलफिल कर पा रहा है या नहीं, क्या प्राइस रख रहे हो आप, कैसे उसको प्रमोट कर रहे हो, ये सारा मार्केटिंग प्लान का पार्ट होता है। तो इस तरीके से this slide particularly was for students where I wanted to tell them that if you want to start up, if you want to have start their own business, they can definitely do it. They just need little support from the institution. And today in our country, the ecosystem is very good. Ecosystem for promoting startups is extremely good. Government also want people to come up with ideas. They also want them to start their own businesses so that the country also grows along with it. So that was about the learners. Now coming to the end of my discussion, I want to ask everyone to come up with the doubts, come up with the questions. But before that, let me summarize what I have just presented. I started off with what is the role of entrepreneurship for an economy and what is the role of higher education institutions in promoting entrepreneurship. After that, I discussed that how a higher education institute can promote entrepreneurship among students. I also mentioned the challenges that we as distance education university is facing and how we are handling those challenges. After that, last slide I dedicated to my learners, where I talked about steps for a startup. If they want to start up their own business, how can they go about it? So I'm open to questions.
Thank you, Dr. Vijayta, for a very, very interesting and thought-provoking session, which reflects your dedication towards this cause. And I'm sure everyone who is present here, they are highly motivated to do something, regarding innovation and entrepreneurship to foster it in the university. Now, I would like to invite observations from our participants here regarding Dr. Vijayta's talk, and um, there is a vibrant discussion also going on in the chat box, and Dr. Vijayta might like to answer some of the queries there also. We also have with us many experts from outside IGNU here who are ISC members. I can see Dr. Mahendra Gupta was here, and I also saw Dr. KK Goel. He is also there. And I would like to invite their comments if they wish to present their observations here. And also, I would like to inform you that our Smart India Hackathon winner is with us here today, and post any discussion regarding Dr. Banwari's talk, we would like to interact with him also. So I would invite any observations on Dr. Judeja's ideas here. किसी को कुछ कहना है? Dr. KK Goel है. Would you like to say something, sir?
Dr. Vijeta, can you stop presentation, please?
Yes, sir.
So किसी को कुछ कहना है, कोई observation, कोई comment, कोई thought?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I want to say something.
Yes, please. Can I know your name,
Yes.
please?
My name is Kanishk.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Dr. Vijeta, for that, insightful uh, deck. So there are two questions. I am currently working as a small team. So we deploy marketing projects, basically focusing on B2B platform. Now, what problem I am facing right now is managing team because we are working remotely and all the processes are going remotely now. How do I make sure that everything aligns up even though we are working remotely? Because if everything is on the mail, you are not interacting with them on a daily basis. So how do you maintain that? And secondly, if you have an idea to start upon, is it like what's the stage where you have to reach out for incubation process? So these are two different questions that I have.
Okay, thank you, Kanishk, for your questions. Now, definitely, I understand that it is an issue when people are working remotely and you have to connect and you have to keep your employees motivated also, and you have to keep a track also that is the work going according to your plans or not. So, for that, I'll suggest you to first formulate a timeline for all your tasks, for all your activities. As far as possible, define the task that everyone is supposed to do along with your task. Probably when you have defined everything clearly, then it becomes easier for others also to follow. Please try that. I'm sure that this is going to work. Regarding your second question, once you have an idea and you want to go in for incubation, before that, I would suggest you to go deeper into that idea to understand if it is commercially viable, if it is going to be commercially viable or not. What are the other projects? What are the other ideas? What are the other startups in that area? And how you can be different. One important thing that you have to ask yourself is that what problem are you trying to solve with that idea? And is that problem genuine?
Yes. So, ma'am, I've already evaluated all my competitors and what idea I'm working on right now. So, we have created certain pitch decks, and I have created a prototype on Adobe XD, just like how the particular function that we are providing is going to look like. So that's the point that I've asked. So, the point that I wanted to ask was, should we implement technical process and then go for the incubation process, or just prototype is enough for conveying our idea?
Once you have a prototype, it is, for the starting sake, for the incubation, it is enough for the starting. You can start with the process and then maybe again if it is required, but prototype is good enough according to me. Dr. OP Sharma can add something to it.
Thank you, Dr. Vijeta. We have with us Mr. Dr. K. Goel. Dr. Goel is Assistant Director at the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. Dr. Goel, if there is any change in your designation, please let us know. He is from MSME, and I welcome you
You can also add
for
to the
your views.
question that Kanishk just asked.
Okay, so first I would like to say I'm an ex-assistant director. Now I am retired. Okay, so that is the only change. Earlier I was in active role of Ministry of MSME. Now I am in an indirect role of Ministry of MSME. Dr. Vijeta, first of all, I will really like to appreciate and congratulate a wonderful presentation. Very well deserving, very well condensed, and covering almost all the aspects of the topic. It is a difficult topic, but still you have covered it in a very lucid way. And my heartfelt thanks to you for promoting entrepreneurship in this way. And Dr. O.P. Sharma and Dr. Momita, actually, you are the pillars of this in NICD. Regarding the question of this gentleman, may I know his name, please?
The Kanishk.
Yeah,
Mr. Kanish.
Kanishk.
Okay. So, can we have one-on-one during this meeting itself? Dr. O.P. Sharma, do you permit us?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Kanishka, are
So,
you
Kanish,
IGNO student? Or what?
okay.
Are you related
Yes,
to
sir.
IGNO? Yes.
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Kanish,
I'm
tell
currently
us
in the final
something
year.
about your project very precisely. What is that project like?
Yes. Yes, sir, for sure.
Connects, you try to be in our touch, and I will suggest you to kindly give a mail to me, and we will organize a meeting with Dr. K. Goel or anybody else also, because what we have been doing, and Dr. Vijeta has also been emphasizing time and again in her talk, that NCID is very much interested in promoting, supporting, and mentoring these students like you who are doing something at their own and want some special kind of support. So in that context, we need to know a little more about you, what kind of support you want, and accordingly we will try to connect you with the experts of the field. And also, the IGNO has a many experts. We also have a large number of people, faculty member here having different kind of expertise, and so it will be good you kindly be in our touch. And if you share us your mobile number and email, then my colleague will add you in at least in WhatsApp group, so that you can be connected with the other potential innovator of IGNO. We are creating a group of potential innovators, and they are interacting with each other. They are sharing their experiences, knowledge, expertise, whatever they are coming across in their life, they are doing. So you can also be part of them. I can see Samrat is there.
Yeah,
So,
Samrat
Dr.
is
Sharma ji,
there.
Dr.
Yes.
Mr.
Sharma ji.
Sharma, I would like
Yes,
to
sir,
add
please.
something before actually I miss.
Yeah.
Hello. Shall I?
Yes, please.
Can I continue?
That
Ah,
talks. Yes,
you see,
please. Mm.
the students of IGNO are spread throughout the country, and having an incubation center at IGNO may not be of that great help. Okay, it can serve the limited purpose only, but the purpose, you see, Ministry of MSME, Government of India has opened so many HI, host institutes. Those are incubation centers spread throughout the country. The list is available on the ministry's website, and if one is interested, one can identify any nearby host institute, and they will be welcoming the ideas. And even one question was there: if I have developed a prototype, whether it will be considered or not. Even if you don't have the prototype available, readily available, but if you have a good pitch deck, if you can convince about your ideas and you show your sincerity, then you can be given a grant up to 15 lakhs, 15 लाख रुपए तक की आपको ग्रांट मिल सकती है to develop that idea into prototype. One can get a seed capital of 1 crore for developing that prototype into a commercial viable product. So sky is the limit. Then Dr. Vijita was saying there are financial institutions, there are many other government institutions which are ready to help, but many times I have been receiving the complaint while being in ministry that these institutes don't help. So there is a solid reason behind it, that the entrepreneur himself or herself is not aware about the idea. I really like the way Dr. Vijita said that a team is required. Even if you have a technical project, you need the team to offset those ideas which are your big ideas, which can be marketing, which can be financial, which can be HR related. You may be very good at technology part, but you may be lacking behind, and that's where the team is required. And for this, the team, even the experienced businessman can also be a team member. This is where actually you must consider. If you can convince the financial institution or the officer behind the desk, then lots of help is available. Rather, they have been given the financial targets to be achieved. They are looking for good project and the good entrepreneurs. The only thing is that you have to convince them to such an extent that they are ready to listen you and they are ready to finance you. So this is what is my suggestion.
Thanks, sir. Thanks a lot. That insight will help me to reach out for more opportunities. Thanks, sir.
May I speak?
Thank you very much, Dr. Goel, and thank you again for sharing your number also in the chat box. And I would request and ask all the students to contact Dr. Goel also and Dr. Sharma, as he has announced that first you please write to Dr. Sharma, and then we will connect you to our experts. Now I would ask our students to write their questions in the chat box, and I would request our experts, Dr. Vijeta and Dr. Goel also, if we could reply to our students in the chat box, we would be really grateful. And
Ma'am,
now,
I was having an observation. If you permit, may I speak?
yes, can I know your name, please?
Rao Samrat.
Oh, Rao, yes. Yeah, we were waiting for Kunal. So please, you can express your views here in a short uh,
Okay.
duration.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I I am very thankful to Dr. O.P. Sharma sir, ma'am, and for arranging today's session and today's keynote person. I am not able to read her name, but your session was extremely insightful, ma'am. And I would also thank our regional director from Ranchi, Dr. Mohanty sir, and all other regional directors. As I listened carefully to the session, I would like to make a small observation like that. Development and entrepreneurship is normally taken to make a change plus desired growth, and it has both qualitative and quantitative dimensions. Apart from government run schemes, the problems which we entrepreneurs sometimes face needs to be tackled with proactive approach, and it must be focused on promoting sustainable development with holistic livelihood opportunities for our entrepreneurs also and for our startup also. As now the sir from that MSME department, senior bureaucrat from MSME department has told that we have a long staged alumni spread all across the nation. Some days before only I visited our director of NABARD of our state. He was also a IGNU alumni. So just for example, some small things, if we can be getting help from NCID, it would be a very grateful. Like tomorrow I am having a meeting at Steel Authority of India Limited for their some CSR project. So such type of system can be created that if I am having some if we, not I, but we as a whole or any students or alumni attached with NCID or our IGNU alumni network working in the field of startup have some of our project which is to be presented before any body or before any committee. So and prior submitting our project there, if we can send that project to NCID, and if NCID can go through the project and just give us a small recommendation letter that we have gone through this project and this would be really very helpful for example tribal people, rural people, and any subject in the project, it would be very helpful. Because rather that ma'am in her speech also told that it's not all every time about monetary support which an entrepreneur needs, but if we get such type of recommendations or such types of letter, it would definitely boost a morale of our startup also, our organization also, and our pitch would be more set in front of the committee or the organization in front of which we are pitching our idea. So I hope I am able to convey my idea, and I am sure
Yes.
that Mr. Dr. O.P. Sharma sir would surely look into the thing which I am talking.
Thank you, Mr. Rao Samrat, for your views. In fact, it's a very engaging discussion and it can go on, but we are a little short of time. So if anybody of you want to express something, I would request you to kindly write in the chat box for everybody to see. And our experts are here today, and they would also answer your queries, if any. Now, I would like to request Dr. Sharma to introduce Kunal to us. Kunal, who has won the Smart India Hackathon 2022, is with us. Over to Dr. Sharma, please.
Thank you, Dr. Momita. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Vijeta Vanbari to give such a very informative and lucid presentation on fostering the entrepreneurship among IGNOU students. In fact, you have given a roadmap for the higher education institution, what kind of activities could be organized to promote innovation and entrepreneurship in any higher education institution. A number of suggestions and ideas you have given. And if you make a list of those all, then I think you know that many of those activities we are already doing, but still I could take note of few that we need to do. And certainly we'll take some initiative in that direction, so that uh, other activities could also be started in the benefit of the students as well as the faculty. And as you know, the basic objective is to promote this kind of innovation entrepreneurship. And in all the meetings, you might have noticed we are always looking towards uh, identifying the students like Samrat or Kanisk or Kunal, or these all are the basically the search of this kind, result of the search of this kind of meetings only. During the meetings and other programs, we could come across those students, and then we could identify that they are doing these things, and then we want to support them, we want to guide them, we want to connect them with the people. And Samrat, what you have suggested, we will certainly would like to take initiative in this direction also. And if any proposal is coming to us, we will be happy to evaluate, give our comments, suggestions to improve it. And also, if possible, we can give recommendation. That will depend on the basically administrative things, whether our administration allows that not, but we will certainly make some way for that also, because ultimately we want to help our students, and then they could get funding support from other external agencies. That will be a good thing for us also. And in this context, as in the beginning, Dr. Mamita had mentioned, Mr. Kunal Ambast, he is one of our students. We identified is by organizing such kind of activity. A Student Innovation Award, you know, every year we are organizing. And in that activity, we are identifying the potential innovators. And after that, we are trying to guide them, support them, mentor them, and also encourage them to participate in different kind of activities. And in that context, I would like to share with you that 5 team of IGNOU we had recommended to participate in the Smart India Hackathon 2022. And 3 of them had participated, and I would like to just share with you if 2-3 slides before I invite Kunal to say something. Monitor, can you see my slide?
Yes, Dr. Sharma.
Yes, this is basically I would like to mention you that IGNOU students team that not only wins, but many of them have participated in a Smart India Hackathon. First one, this Kunal, you can see, he's an MCA student of IGNOU, and they had participated in the Ranchi Nodal Center of the Smart India Hackathon, and they had won this Smart India Hackathon in the individual innovation category. What he did, we will invite Kunal because he's there with us. So we are really proud of you, Kunal, and other students who are the part of his team. And you can see the part of his team, all are the girl students. And I could get an opportunity to meet them at the Ranchi this weekend. And I was so happy to see the energy among those all girls. Each of them is now interested to become the leader of a separate team, and they are so much enthusiastic and excited to participate in other activities of the IGNOU and other organizations. So this is a kind of students we are getting. And another team that you can see, the team led by Sheetal Thapa. She is our PhD student of performing and visual arts. She participated in Tamil Nadu, and you can see the enthusiasm of Sheetal and her team, that they had traveled from Dehradun to Tamil Nadu in train, and then there they participated, and they were first runner-up in the grand finale of this. So this is a kind of enthusiasm and energy of IGNOU students, and you see the confidence which we could see in Sheetal and her team, that they had presented their ideas and those all things very well. And another team, they participated at Hyderabad. That team was led by Satish Kumar Misra. He is also MCA student of IGNOU. They could not make it a final, but still the participation and presentation, networking with other students, that's a great thing that they have been doing. And we are really proud of all these students. And I would like to share with you, these all teams did not were not recommended, just we got their entries and were recommended. We had received around 25 such applications. They were invited to present in the Smart IGNOU hackathon. So that is a kind of activity we are creating the similar kind of environment at the university level also. Whatever government is doing at the national level, we did the same kind of thing at the university level for this Smart IGNOU hackathon. And they all students were invited to present their ideas, their work, and they were guided and then supported. Technical advice was also given by our faculty of the School of Computer Science. And then after that, they improvised their idea, and then with that kind of idea and then kind of guidance, they had participated in the Smart India Hackathon. And you can see the result of these all students. So we're really proud of these all students. And I hope in years to come, we will have many more such moments for IGNOU students who will be participating in different kind of such national, international competitions. I would like to share with you, last year also, one of our student, he stood first in the National Innovation Contest. And that National Innovation Contest was basically also a result of this university level contest. We organized university level innovation contest, and the students selected were recommended, and out of those they were found suitable and were given the financial assistance also. He got around, I think, 7 lakh rupees financial assistance. So this is a kind of that outcome we can see. And fortunately, we have right now Mr. Kunal. So we would like to listen from him. Kunal, would you like to share your experience while participating in the Smart India Hackathon and being with us? Kunal, are you there?
Honorable sir, thank you so much, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible. Continue, please.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, due to network issues, I'm traveling, sir, right now. So I would not turn on camera, sir, so that my voice may keep on going. So first of all, so thank you so much, sir, for giving me this opportunity. Without NCID, I would never be there in SIH. Trust me, everyone. Without NCID, I would never be there in SIH. Without the blessing of Dr. O.P. Sharma, sir, Dr. Sujata Santosh, ma'am, Momita Das, ma'am, I would never be there. मतलब ये सफर इतना मुश्किल था कि अगर सर का गाइडेंस नहीं होता, प्यार नहीं होता, उनका आशीर्वाद नहीं होता, तो मैं कभी पहुंच ही नहीं पाता। मैं एक आपने हमारी इस कम्युनिटी के बारे में सुना, एनसीआईडी के बारे में सुना, हमारे डिफरेंट इनिशिएटिव्स के बारे में सुना। मैं आपको एक नई चीज दिखाना चाहूंगा यहाँ। जब मैंने एनसीआईडी में एप्लीकेशन फाइल की थी पार्टिसिपेट करने के लिए, उस समय मैं अलोन था, मतलब इंडिविजुअल पार्टिसिपेंट था, और मैंने एज एन इंडिविजुअल अप्लाई किया था एसआईएच के लिए। मैं जानता था मैं नहीं कर पाऊंगा, मतलब मैं बिना टीम के वहां नहीं पहुंच सकता। बट एनसीआईडी से जो मुझे हेल्प मिली, मैं कभी नहीं भूल सकता। मैं अपनी जिंदगी में अपने अंतिम सांसों तक कभी नहीं भूल पाऊंगा। सर का जो प्यार मिला, सर का जो साथ मिला, कभी नहीं भूल पाऊंगा मैं। और सर ने हमेशा, मैम ने हमेशा मुझे सपोर्ट किया और कहा कि तुम आगे बढ़ो कुणाल, हम सब संभाल लेंगे। और मेरे लिए एक टीम कॉन्स्टिट्यूट की गई, एंड फाइनली आई वाज देयर इन एसआईएच। और उनके आशीर्वाद से मैंने उनके भरोसे को बनाए रखा, और ये शायद सर के भरोसे की जीत है, ये मैम के भरोसे की जीत है कि मैं एसआईएच में जीत के आ पाया। मेरे पेरेंट्स जब सर से मिले, देवर क्राइंग, वो रो रहे थे, खुशी के आंसू उनकी आंखों से बह रहे थे, और वो इतने खुश थे सर को देख करके कि मैं आपको अपने शब्दों में कभी बयान नहीं कर पाऊंगा। मैं एक और चीज यहाँ पर आपको बताना चाहूंगा। जब मैं एसआईएच में पार्टिसिपेट करने के लिए पहुंचा, जब मैंने अपना आइडिया का प्रेजेंटेशन दिया, तो मेरे पास चूंकि टीम नहीं थी, इसलिए क्लियर था कि मैं एसआईएच में तो नहीं जा पाऊंगा। मैं आपको शीतल मैम के बारे में बताना चाहूंगा। शीतल मैम, शी वाज द फर्स्ट वन हु ऑफर्ड कि सर मेरी टीम को हटा करके मेरे से कुणाल के नीचे डाल दिया जाए। और मेरी टीम का पूरा सपोर्ट कुणाल को दे दिया जाए ताकि कुणाल पार्टिसिपेट कर सके, क्योंकि मुझे ऐसा फील होता है कि कुणाल जीत जाएगा। दिस वॉज द वर्ड्स जो मेरे कान में इको करता रहता है। मैं भूल नहीं सकता उस एहसान को जो मैम ने मेरे साथ मेरे लिए किया था। कोई भी आदमी अपना पार्टिसिपेशन कभी कैंसिल नहीं करना चाहेगा। ये कहीं और नहीं होता, ये सिर्फ इग्नू में होता है, ये सिर्फ एनसीआईडी में होता है, ये सिर्फ सर के गाइडेंस में होता है, ये दूसरी जगह आपको नहीं देखने के लिए मिलेगा। और जब मैं एसआईएच में पहुंचा, सर की ब्लेसिंग्स हमेशा मेरे साथ रही, मुझे वो हमेशा गाइड करते रहे। फॉर्चुनेटली मैं स्टूडेंट इनोवेशन अवार्डी भी हूँ 2021 के लिए। सर ने अपना प्यार मुझे वहाँ दिया। और जब मैं एसआईएच में वहाँ पहुंचा तो नो डाउट चैलेंज वाज लिटरली वेरी टफ, लिटरली वेरी टफ। मतलब ये नेक टू नेक चैलेंज था। मतलब कोई भी जो वहाँ पहुंचा हुआ था, मेरे हिसाब से जितने भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स वहाँ थे, दे ऑल वर विनर्स। वो सब विनर्स थे, क्योंकि उन्होंने इतना बढ़िया कंपटीशन पेश किया कि मतलब आप अंदाजा भी नहीं लगा सकते। और अगर मैं जज होता तो मेरे लिए तो शायद ये एकदम नेक्स्ट टू इम्पॉसिबल हो जाता, फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड तय करना। पर उन्होंने ऐसा कर दिखाया हमें। मैं याद कर सकता हूँ कि मुझे एक टास्क दिया गया। जब मैंने अपना आइडिया प्रेजेंट किया वहां पे, तो जजेस वर रियली वेरी हैप्पी विद दैट। लेकिन वो कुछ इसमें ऐसी चीजें चाहते थे जिससे मेरी इनोवेशन के जो कोर गाइडिंग प्रिंसिपल है, मेरी इनोवेशन के 4 कोर गाइडिंग प्रिंसिपल है, वो 4 कोर गाइडिंग प्रिंसिपल के अगेंस्ट हो जाता अगर मैं उस सॉल्यूशन को इंटीग्रेट करता। अगर मैं उस सॉल्यूशन को इंटीग्रेट नहीं करता तो शायद मैं जजेज की एक्सपेक्टेशन को फुलफिल नहीं कर पाता। अब मेरे पास में सिर्फ 20 घंटे थे अपने कोर गाइडिंग प्रिंसिपल को इंटैक्ट रखते हुए जजेस के एक्सपेक्टेशंस को फुलफिल करने के। एंड बाय द ब्लेसिंग्स ऑफ ऑलमाइटी, मेरे टीचर्स की टीचिंग की वजह से मैं ये कर पाया। और मैंने एक ऐसा सॉल्यूशन आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स प्रेजेंट किया वहाँ। एवरीवन वाज रियली वेरी सरप्राइज्ड टू सी। सर ने जब हमारे जजेस वहाँ पहुंचे फाइनल राउंड के लिए और उन्होंने देखा, तो उन्होंने कहा माय गॉड कुणाल, तुमने कर लिया। तो दे वर रियली वेरी हैप्पी। और जैसे ही सर को मैंने रात में सर को कॉल किया, मतलब जैसे ही रिजल्ट अनाउंस हुआ, मैं की खुशी बर्दाश्त नहीं कर पाया। मैंने तुरंत सर को कॉल किया, मैंने सर को बताया कि सर बाय योर ब्लेसिंग्स सर आई हैव वॉन एसआईएच। एंड सर इतने खुश हुए। सर ने कहा कुणाल बेटा तुम वहीं रुको, आई एम कमिंग टू रांची। और सर आए और सर मुझसे मिले। मतलब ये किसी सौभाग्य से कम नहीं है। मतलब मैं अपने गुरुजी से मिल पाया और ये किसी सौभाग्य से कम नहीं है मेरे लिए। तो एनसीआईडी बहुत ही अच्छा काम कर रही है। मतलब क्योंकि मुझे स्टार्टिंग से ही सपोर्ट मिलता रहा और बहुत सपोर्ट मिला है। मैम ने बहुत ही लगातार यहाँ पर सेशंस होते रहे हैं और मुझे बहुत सारी गाइडलाइंस मिली। और मैंने अपना जो मेरा इनोवेशन है उसको मैंने बहुत इम्प्रूव किया है, बहुत ज्यादा इम्प्रूवमेंट आई है। और पहले वो आई है काया, एक ज्यादा ही बढ़िया नाम होगा हम इंडियंस के लिए सर, और हम इसे आसानी से एक्सेप्ट कर पाएंगे। और सर अगर आपका आशीर्वाद और गाइडलाइंस इसी तरह से मेरे साथ रही सर, तो मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ सर कि 2022 में मैं काया को मार्केट तक पहुंचा पाऊंगा सर। मैं यहाँ बताते हुए बहुत खुशी महसूस कर रहा हूँ कि सर के गाइडलाइंस में मैंने नीति आयोग की कम्युनिटी इनोवेटर फेलोशिप भी हासिल की है। मैं IIT ISM धनबाद में CIF फेलो हूँ। तो बिना एनसीआईडी के ये शायद संभव कभी नहीं हो पाता, कभी भी नहीं। तो मेरे पेरेंट्स, मेरी पूरी फैमिली, वी ऑल आर वेरी फॉर्चुनेट टू हैव एनसीआईडी देयर विद अस। और हम दिल से अपनी कृतज्ञता आपके प्रति व्यक्त करते हैं सर।
थैंक यू कुणाल। इनफैक्ट ये तो आपका एफर्ट है कि आप इतना अच्छा कर पा रहे हैं, और हम लोगों का तो ड्यूटी है, काम है। और हमें बहुत अच्छा महसूस होता है कि जब हमारे स्टूडेंट आगे बढ़ते हैं और कुछ करते हैं। मुझे ही नहीं, हमारी पूरी यूनिवर्सिटी को बहुत गर्व है आप पर और आप जैसे सारे स्टूडेंट्स पर। रियली और वाइस चांसलर वाज आल्सो वेरी हैप्पी, प्रो वाइस चांसलर वाज वेरी हैप्पी। जिस किसी ने भी सुनवाई यूनिवर्सिटी में, वो सब एवरीबॉडी इज वेरी हैप्पी एंड प्राउड ऑफ यू। एंड होपफुली आप अच्छा करेंगे, और जहाँ भी जरूरत होगी वी आर ऑलवेज देयर विद यू। क्योंकि देखिए जब कोई आइडिया होता है तो उसको आगे इम्प्रूव करते हैं, मॉडिफाई करते हैं, और अल्टीमेटली जो डॉक्टर विजेता ने कहा कि उसको अगर कॉमर्शलाइज कर पाते हैं तो सबसे बड़ा बात है। तो आप कोशिश करिए कि आपका जो भी प्रोडक्ट है अगर कॉमर्शलाइज हो पाता है तो ज़्यादा लोग उसको यूज कर पाएंगे, सोसाइटी के काम में आएगा, कंट्री के काम में आएगा। And I hope you will keep on doing these all things. So thank you very much for sharing your experience. And yes, Dr. Momita, if any other, yes, Dr. Nayak, you want
Sir,
to say
Doctor,
something?
hello, hello,
Thank you, Dr. Sharma,
hello,
and
ma'am.
thank you very much, Kunal. Yeah, I would like
Hello,
Kunal to remain हमारे साथ. Kunal, आप रहिए.
हेलो मैम.
हाँ, बोलिए.
मैम मैं एक चीज कहना चाह रहा हूँ मैम
हाँ
यहाँ.
हाँ, प्लीज गो
मैम
अहेड.
मैम मैं रांची रीजनल सेंटर से कनेक्टेड हूँ मैम. और डॉक्टर सुभाकांत मोहंती सर का जितना आशीर्वाद और जितना सपोर्ट मुझे मिला कि मैम, मतलब ये शब्दों में व्यक्त करना सर मैम, सर मेरे लिए बहुत मुश्किल है. मतलब रात रात में भी सर ने मेरे कॉल्स रिसीव किए हैं मैम, और 1 मिनट के लिए भी कभी ये महसूस नहीं हुआ मैं इतनी रात गए सर को फोन कर रहा हूँ, सर को डिस्टर्ब कर रहा हूँ. एक सेकंड के लिए भी कभी ऐसा नहीं लगा मैम. सर ने हमेशा मेरा कॉल रिसीव किया, मुझे सपोर्ट किया, मुझे गाइड किया और बताया कि कुणाल तुम्हें क्या करना चाहिए और क्या नहीं करना चाहिए. सो मैम इट वाज रियली वंडरफुल एक्सपीरियंस. मतलब शब्दों के जरिए मैम बयां कर पाना शायद मुश्किल हो पाएगा मेरे लिए. बट थैंक यू सो मच मैम, थैंक यू सो मच सर.
कुणाल, आप बने रहिए. हमारे पास बहुत लोग हैं जो आपसे कुछ पूछना चाहेंगे, कुछ जानना चाहेंगे. काफी मोटिवेटेड हैं आपके सक्सेस से. तो हमारे पास डॉक्टर नायक हैं. सर, आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे?
पहले तो मैं शर्मा साहब को और उनकी एंटायर टीम एनसीआईडी एंड ऑल पीपल who are connected with this activity, I would like to congratulate all of them for this wonderful achievement of Kunal ji. कुणाल जी को हम तो कंग्रेचुलेट कर चुके हैं ग्रुप में, अभी फिर एक बार पर्सनली उनको कंग्रेचुलेट करना चाहेंगे. और एक रिक्वेस्ट रहेगा मेरा कुणाल जी को एंड शर्मा साहब को, आपका जो सक्सेस स्टोरी, इसको एक छोटी सी वीडियो एक बनाइए और हमारे जो एनसीआईडी के साइट में इसको मैंने ऐसे बने जो HIS जो आप जीते हैं उसका एक वीडियो बना के उसको किया जाए, सो दैट कि जितने हमारे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स जो है मैंने बडिंग इनोवेटर्स जो इग्नू के, उन सब के लिए इंस्पायरेशनल होगा ये. और हमारे इनोवेट जर्नल में आपके एक राइटअप मैं चाहूंगा कि आगे जो मैंने अगले महीना का जो निकलेगा उसमें एक आपकी एक आर्टिकल आ जाए कि मैंने योर एंटायर जर्नी, मैंने इग्नू में कैसे आप एंट्री किए और मैंने कहाँ से आपको गाइडेंस मिला एंड हाउ यू हैव बीन सक्सेसफुल इन दैट. आई थिंक दैट विल बी वंडरफुल. और प्रोफेसर विजेता बनवारी जी का जो प्रेजेंटेशन है, जैसे कि आप हर कोई बोल चुके हैं, इट्स ए काइंड ऑफ रोड मैप फॉर ऑल ऑफ अस, नॉट ओनली द स्टूडेंट्स, और हमारे लिए भी हायर एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशन में क्या क्या हम लोग कर सकते हैं, व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट kinds of activity that we need to take up to promote innovation and entrepreneurship. For IGNU, HEI means all the regional centers, obviously. तो हम लोग यहाँ पे हेडक्वार्टर्स में तो होता रहता है, बट रीजनल सेंटर्स वी हैव टू बी, जैसे कि अभी कुणाल बता रहे थे, डॉक्टर महांती हैज बीन ए ग्रेट सपोर्ट टू हिम ऑल अलोंग हिज जर्नी. तो हम चाहेंगे कि ऐसे एक्टिविटीज हर रीजनल सेंटर्स में हो और कुणाल जैसे हर रीजनल सेंटर से इनोवेटर्स और एंटरप्रेन्योर्स निकले, सो दैट कि एनसीआईडी reaches the sky. This is what I can expect. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Naik. Or I would like to add to what you're saying. Dr. Goel ने भी एक बात बताई थी कि there are host institutes of MSMEs जो कि all over India scattered है. So maybe in the future we would like to know more about them and make a network. So coming back to our interaction with Kunal, किसी और को कुछ कहना है या पूछना है? Please go ahead. I would like to
कुणाल जी ने ये स्मार्ट हैकाथॉन जो जीता है, इससे अपना इग्नू का और हम सभी एनसीआईडी और एनसीआईडी से जुड़े सभी लोगों का जो है ना नाम बहुत अच्छा हो गया है. क्योंकि कुणाल के जो जजेस थे उस कंपटीशन में, 2-3 जजेस थे, नाम नहीं लूंगा मैं उनके, वो हमारे यहाँ के चेंबर से कनेक्टेड है. तो उसी कंपटीशन के रात में जब मैंने ओपी शर्मा सर रांची आए थे तो मुझको पता चला, तो मैंने सर से कनेक्ट किया और मैं भी मिलने गया था. फिर हमारे फोटोज मैंने जब हमारे चेंबर ऑफ कॉमर्स एक्सेट्रा के ग्रुप में शेयर किए तो उसमें रिमार्क जो लोगों के आया तो मुझको एकदम मेरा मन गदगद हो गया देख के। इनका जो जज थे वहां पे इनकी कंपटीशन को जिन्होंने जज किया था, और ऐसे कुछ जज थे जिन्होंने इनको जानबूझ के मुश्किल परिस्थिति में डाला था इनकी टेस्ट लेने के लिए कि ये लड़का पार हो पाएगा कि नहीं। वो सब हैपन टू बी माय कलीग्स एंड फ्रेंड्स एट चेंबर। तो रात में हमने जब चर्चा की तो सबको कोई क्लू ही नहीं था कि इनको इंक्यूबेशन वगैरह कहाँ से मिला है, क्या हुआ है। एंड देन व्हेन दे गॉट टू नो अबाउट our NCRD, I also told about Dr. O.P. Sharma sir and all others constant supporters from NCRD. They all were very happy and applauding the efforts of IGNU for promoting the entrepreneurship among us students. So इन्होंने खुद के साथ साथ अपना तो नाम रोशन किया ही है पूरे टीम का, लेकिन हम लोगों का भी थोड़ा वो इग्नू एलुमनाइज का थोड़ा भी वेट जो है बढ़ा दिया हमारे पूरे चेंबर में।
That is very interesting. A few words, please, Dr. Josna.
Thank you, Dr. Momita. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मैं शुरुआत कुणाल से ही करूँगी, क्योंकि मैं उसकी जर्नी पूरी पिछले 1 साल की हम लोग के साथ जो रही है उसको बहुत कीनली मैंने ऑब्जर्व किया है। और एक बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट कंपोनेंट जो चाहे वो बडिंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हों, चाहे वो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स ही क्यों ना हो, जिनके लिए बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट है, क्रूशल है, दैट इज़ टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज़ देयर इकिगाई। That is a reason which gives them to live on this planet Earth and to serve others. तो जब मैं कुणाल की जर्नी को देख रही हूँ राइट फ्रॉम द बिगनिंग, जब इनोवेशन अवार्ड के दरमियान हमने उनसे इंटरेक्ट किया और भी कई ऐसे ओकेजन पे जब इंटरेक्ट किया, तो हमने उनकी एक सिर्फ ग्रोथ ही नहीं देखी। वनस्पत what is my personal experience which I found out is that he is actually passionate about what he is doing. On top of the passion, उन्होंने एक ऐसे प्रॉब्लम पकड़ी जिसको कि कोई देख ही नहीं रहा था और जिसको कोई सोच ही नहीं रहा था, और उस प्रॉब्लम को इन्होंने जिस यूनिक वे में हैंडल किया, वो आज के ज़माने में जब आपके पास कनेक्शंस है, इंटरनेट कनेक्शन है, 5G आ गया है, तो आप सोचेंगे भी नहीं। बट येस, देयर आर सर्टन सिक्योरिटी इश्यूज, उनको उन्होंने ध्यान में रख के जिस तरीके से चीज़ों को किया है, दैट इज़ समथिंग कि आई कैन वेरी वेल से दैट कुणाल जी ने बेसिकली अपनी इकिगाई को टच किया। और निसंदेह हम लोग उनकी इस जर्नी में सभी लोग साथ रहे, और बट सारा श्रेय कुणाल जी को मुख्यतः ही जाता है, क्योंकि उन्होंने जो इकिगाई की मैट्रिक्स होती है, आपका पैशन, दैट इज जो आपको करने में अच्छा लगता है वो कर रहे हैं, आपका विजन विच मीन्स, या मिशन विच मीन्स दैट दुनिया की क्या प्रॉब्लम है जिसे आप रिजॉल्व कर सकते हैं, आपका वोकेशन, एंड देन आपका प्रोफेशन, आप जिसमें अच्छे हैं। तो आई थिंक ये जो एक इन सब का जो इंटीग्रेशन है, Kunal has been very successful in doing that, and once again through this platform I personally congratulate Kunal। और हम ऐसा सोचते हैं कि अभी कुणाल के द्वारा बहुत सारे और इनोवेशंस आने हैं, और हम उन्हें विजुलाइज करते हैं कि वो एक बहुत अच्छे सक्सेसफुल एंटरप्रेन्योर भी बनेंगे। नाउ कमिंग टू डॉक्टर विजय, आपने जिस तरीके से चीज़ों को प्रेजेंट किया, यू नॉट ओनली प्रेजेंटेड दैट इग्नो किस तरीके से इनोवेशन एंड एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप रिलेटेड एक्टिविटीज़ को परफॉर्म कर रहा है, वनस्पत आपने जो challenges बताए, that is something which all of us in NCRD have been discussing, we have been facing this, and that gap, that face-to-face component, that interaction with the student, वो वाकई मिसिंग है, और इसके लिए we are working on, और हमारे जो 57 regional centers हैं, basically they are a backbone for us for these activities। और हमारे बहुत सारी रीजनल सेंटर्स हैं जो इनोवेशन एंड एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप रिलेटेड एक्टिविटीज़ में मैं देखती हूँ, चाहे हमारे जो फेसबुक लाइव सेशंस हों या जो हमारा इनोवेशन क्लब की मीटिंग्स होती है, अदरवाइज ऑल्सो बहुत ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट दिखाते हैं। और जो एक कमज़ोर कड़ी जो हमारे इस इनोवेशन एंड एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप मिशन विजन में रहती है, that is to give that face-to-face interaction, that face-to-face window to our students, to network, जैसे डॉक्टर मोमिता ने कहा, डॉक्टर गोयल ने भी कहा, to network, to collaborate. तो अभी जो हम जिस स्थिति पे आए हैं आज, now for us it is very important that through our regional centers we network, collaborate, and we facilitate the students where they are. क्योंकि वर्चुअल हम लोगों ने बहुत सारी एक्टिविटीज़ की हैं, वी ऑल्सो हैव अ वर्चुअल इंक्यूबेटर, बट स्टिल जो एक फेस टू फेस इंक्यूबेटर की बात होती है, जो फेस टू फेस एक मेंटरिंग और कोलैबोरेशन की बात होती है, दैट आई थिंक विल ओनली बी पॉसिबल if we have our RCs also on board. And on this particular occasion, yes, I do believe that with the help of our RCs, and with the help of the IGNO's innovation and startup policy, which will give us the guidelines as correctly mentioned by Dr. Vijeta, I think it will be a kind of a total new interventions in facilitating our students who are, into entrepreneurship, into innovations, and giving them a kind of a more facilitation, a kind of a more mentorship will be something where it will be very encouraging for our students who are budding entrepreneurs or even existing. So on this day, I will congratulate each and everyone for this program. और हम लोग यहाँ 6 से 8 लोग हैं, लेकिन ये सारी चीज़ें तभी मुमकिन होती है जब हमारे स्टूडेंट्स और हमारे सारे फैकल्टी मेंबर्स और ख़ास तौर से हमारे आरसीज हमारे साथ जुड़े होते हैं, और तभी ये एक अच्छा सा इवेंट या अच्छे से आउटपुट हमें मिलता है. थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind words. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, मैं याद करता हूँ, ma'am. Extremely very sorry, ma'am. Just a second, ma'am. मैम मैं याद करता हूँ कि जब पहली बार मैम मैंने अपना प्रेजेंटेशन दिया था, मैम आपने मेरे प्रोजेक्ट को देखा था और आपने मैम ज्योत्सना मैम ने मुझे कहा था कि बेटा बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हो, मूव फॉरवर्ड, और अगर जब जरूरत पड़ेगी हम तुम्हारे प्रोडक्ट को प्रमोट भी करेंगे, तुम अच्छा काम कर रहे हो. सो मैम आई कैन नॉट फॉरगेट दोज वर्ड्स, मैम, दैट मोटिवेटेड मी थ्रू माय सक्सेस जर्नी. एंड राव सम्राट सर ऑलवेज सपोर्टेड अस. He's really a model for us. Thank you.
So Kunal, एक और मैम हैं, and I would like to invite her. She is Dr. Sujata Santosh, who is the coordinator of the Smart India Hackathon. Dr. Sujata, I would invite you to kindly share your views. Dr. Sujata.
Thank you, Dr. Momita. Thank you. Yeah. So it was a very nice talk by Dr. Vijeta. Congratulations, Dr. Vijeta. It was really very interesting talk. And as far as the talk was on the need, it was highlighted the need for fostering entrepreneurship in among the students. And I would, most of the things have already been emphasized by my colleagues and other participants also. But I would just like to add that we at NCID, right from the beginning, we took up initiatives one by one for fostering entrepreneurship, the idea of innovation, and installing and a culture of innovation among the faculty and the students of IGNO. We started focusing on the distance education model per se, the ODL system, the education system, and then with the emphasis, the impetus that came from the ministry, we took on more activities and tasks which focused on creating an ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurship within the university. So with the students now being very motivated, they are this is what we started with. The idea was to encourage and motivate the student so that they themselves they come forward in large numbers and make us proud. So I think we are going on the right path, and this is what our efforts have been. So this is all I would say. And with Kunal and other teams emerging winners, we had two teams as winners. Kunal's team was the winner, and Sheetal Thapa's team was the first runner-up. So I congratulate them also. They are leading the flag of innovation and entrepreneurship. They are the pioneers in the university. So I hope that they'll be motivating and encouraging other students also, because I keep pushing students to sign up, register, and take part in the, not only we conduct an internal hackathon, and then we push the students to take part in other initiatives. And the same is true for my other colleagues also, because we nominate students for various competitions and challenges being organized by the ministry. So now when they are coming at the forefront, they are really getting motivated, and others are also getting inspired by them. So this is a big leap forward. All the best to all, and thank you so much. Congratulations. Thank you.
थैंक यू डॉक्टर सुजाता। कुणाल, आपको कुछ कहना है अभी?
जी मैम, थैंक यू सो मच सुजाता मैम। मैम, विदाउट योर हेल्प दिस वुड नेवर बी पॉसिबल मैम। और मुझे लगता है मैंने जितना मैम को परेशान किया, जितना तक, बट मैम हमेशा प्यार, हमेशा आपने मतलब बहुत बहुत कम समय में मैम आपने कभी भी हमारा साथ नहीं छोड़ा, हमेशा आप हमारे साथ खड़ी रही मैम। और जब एकदम लास्ट टाइम ऑथराइजेशन लेटर की जरूरत थी मैम, मैं सच बताऊं मैम, मैं बिल्कुल भी घबराया हुआ नहीं था। मेरी टीम कह रही थी सर क्या होगा, मैंने बोला कुछ नहीं होगा मैम, वहाँ बैठी हुई है ना, हम बहुत बढ़िया हो जाएगा मैम, संभाल लेंगी।
So all the fruits, all the efforts have borne fruit now. So it is all that ends well is well. So it is good to know that you have won the race finally. So congratulations once again.
Thank you, Dr. Sujata, and thank you, Kunal. किसी और को कोई कुछ कहना है? Anybody wants to express their thoughts are welcome. So it's already, yeah, anybody? So it's already 4:14 here. And Dr. Sharma, is it time to end the session today? आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे?
Yes, we can conclude today's session. In fact, it was very informative, interactive, and presence of Kunal and Samrat and others there that also made it more relevant, because whatever we were presenting about the World Entrepreneurship Day, basically this is what we want, the message to be given on this World Entrepreneurship Day. The fostering of the culture of innovation or entrepreneurship in the university among the students, that can be evaluated or assessed only by this kind of outcomes, this kind of achievements only. Last year, you might have seen all that when the university was given the first rank in the area, that was again a kind of indicator that yes, university is trying to foster the culture of innovation, entrepreneurship. And when we see the result like Kunal, Seetal, and others, that also encourages us to do whatever we have been doing. And on this platform, I would like to thank you all, Dr. Mamita, Dr. Josna, and Sujata, and all my other colleagues, that they as a team have been motivating, encouraging, guiding the students. And I have seen what Kunal was mentioning in case of Sujata, even in case of Mamita and Josna. Anytime they have been talking to the students have been interacting with them, asking different kind of queries, and then guidance. So I think that this kind of support is required for the students when we see. And hopefully, whatever we are looking at, we are finding it today, This will be more and more in the futures to come. We will have large number of students who will be bringing such kind of laurels to the university. So thank you very much to all the participants, all the students. So Dr. Mamita, you can now thank formally to all. And I would like to thank Dr. Vijeta also that she has shared very informative talk today with the students. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Sharma. So now it is my privilege and honor to express gratitude to everyone who has contributed to the success of today's program. And I think it was a very, very nice get together, nice webinar, nice interaction with our winner here. And I would like to first of all thank Dr. Vijeta Banwari for sparing her valuable time to deliver this thought-provoking talk. Actually, मैंने डॉक्टर विजेता को बिल्कुल कल ही near afternoon approach किया था. We had requested her and she obliged, and that shows her dedication towards the cause. Thank you, Dr. Vijeta. I would like to thank Mr. Kunal because Kunal को तो अभी थोड़ी देर पहले हमने संपर्क किया था कि हम आपसे interact करना चाहते हैं, and he obliged, and it was a happy occasion that he joined and shared his experiences. So thank you, Kunal. I would like to thank all the directors and heads, regional directors, faculty members, many professors, esteemed professors are present here today. I'd like to thank them. And I'd like to thank all the other academics of IGNOU for today's webinar. I would like to thank Dr. O.P. Sharma, Director, NCID, and my colleagues, Dr. Jyotsna Dikshit and Dr. Sujata Santosh. I would like to thank Mr. Praveen and Mr. Pawan Kumar for extending their assistance. And so this brings us to the end of today's webinar. Namaste.